Hi everybody, welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles, joining my co-host Jim Hughes. And in this week's news, a third trial is underway. Behind the Lens calls it a perfect day and an eagle's view. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. A third trial in the Oxford school shooting began last week for James Crumbley, father of convicted shooter. Oakland County Judge Cheryl Matthews is presiding and began the proceedings by ruling that certain text message conversations between his son and the mother, Jennifer Crumbley, are inadmissible because she didn't believe the dad was aware of the texts. She also ruled that the text conversations between the shooter and his friends would not be included for the same reason. Defense attorney Merrill Lehman said that dad did not know his son could potentially harm other people. We'll keep you updated on the trial's progress. Jim?
During the Oxford Board of Education meeting on the 27th of February, Serena Shrivers of Hazard, Young and Atia Associates presented a summary of all the feedback received during the focus groups HYA conducted for the current superintendent search. Across the 16 focus groups, around 50 individuals participated. The focus groups were in 5 categories: school staff, students, community, and parents, school board members, and victims and families of the November 30th tragedy. The purpose was to get a profile of what the district and stakeholders would want to see in the future. The superintendent HYA asked participants to say what strengths are in the district and challenges the district facing. They have what would the new superintendent need to know, what characteristics they are looking for in a new superintendent, and if there was anything else that they wanted the new superintendent to know as well. Other common positives came up included the opportunities for students, including athletes, athletics, arts, and Oxford's Virtual Academy, the early college program, and more. Most people also mentioned the benefit of the close-knit community and what it fostered, a sense of belonging. Shivers highlighted the answers and were part of the group, such as a parent and community group, expressing that there was a lot of help from students for the struggling in the district. A negative part of the survey was the lack of cohesion across different schools for the parents who had children in multiple buildings. The students also said they wanted more communication at the middle school level about what had actually happened during the tragedy at the high school regarding the November 30th tragedy. To ensure that future communication with younger students, the final focus group, which was requested by the school board, had comments very similar to the other focus groups. The biggest challenges of the group for the future superintendent was related to consistency and accountability. Terry.
In last week's election, voters overwhelmingly passed 2 replacement millages requested from the Lake Orion community schools, including Oxford and Addison voters in the precinct, which falls within the Orion district boundaries. More than 60% of voters across all precincts passed a replacement operating millage and site sinking fund millage proposal. Already in place, the replacement operating millage is for 10 years and did not raise the tax rate. The non-homestead millage will provide over $10 million in 2024. The school district asked voters to authorize a 21 mills of offset, a rollback from the Headley amendments, but by law can only be taxed up to 18 mills. The 10-year sinking fund replacement is nearly 2 mills and will provide the district about $5 million in 2024. The sinking fund can be used for construction and or repairs of schools, security, transportation, technology, and property purchases, according to district documents. Jim?
A Florida man, 33 years old, led the Oxford police officers, not funny, in a chase around the downtown area of Oxford on the 22nd of February, trying several times to flee from authorities before eventually being caught at the dead end on a service road. Two Oxford police officers were in the driveway of the Oxford Police Department and heard a revving engine at about 9:03 in the evening. The officers then witnessed a dirt bike traveling at a high rate of speed in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. This was on eastbound Burdick Street, and Oxford Police Department incident report stated the dirt bike did not have the lights on or registration or even a plate, according to the report. One of the police officers began pursuit, activating his emergency lights and sirens. The officer watched as the suspect sped on northbound North Washington Street, weaving in and out of traffic. The police officer believed that the rider was posing a danger to himself or others in the community. And he did allow the chase to continue without attempting to apprehend him. The suspect, though, was taken into custody later on. Police could detect an odor of intoxicants coming from the suspect, who also was requested with bloodshot, watery eyes. The suspect did forego the blood test. The man was given a preliminary breath test with the results being at 0.109% blood alcohol content. The BAC is at 0.08, is considered to be legally intoxicated in Michigan. The suspect refused again the blood test when they requested, so police got to search warrant from the magistrate for the blood draw. He was then taken to McLaren Clarkston Hospital for the blood draw, where he was medically cleared after tipping the dirt bike. The suspect was also then booked, fingerprinted at the Oxford Police Department, and then transferred on to the Oakland County Jail. Charges for fleeing and eluding police, operating under an influence of alcohol, and is pending the results. Again, the dirt bike, a blue 1999 Honda CR250R, is believed to have belonged to the suspect's best friend's girlfriend. Again, the bike was also impounded as well. Terry.
A very prominent structure in Oxford turns 100 years old this year, and it's not the worse for wear. Built by the Flowers Mausoleum Company of Ohio, the 2,100 square foot Grand Mausoleum is in the Oxford Township Cemetery and houses more than 150 crypts. Built of stone, marble, glass, and tile, the company created a beautiful, sacred monument to honor the memory of those who have passed and for those who love them. Construction began in June 1924 and was completed in January of 1925. Jim?
Thanks, Terry. And now in our Behind the Lens segment, before you toss out that maybe older phone or older tablet, I found this little gem on a photo section on an older phone that sat in a drawer for a while. This here from 2012, at the end of a day in East Tawas, I labeled it the perfect end of the day, well spent. Again, our Behind the Lens segment here on Oxford Community Television. And in our last story today, you're going to stay tuned for that. Terry Stiles will have a very wonderful story regarding an eagle's view on the world. We're looking forward to that. Up and coming, we always look forward to him. Dave Kenny with Auto Talk and Science in the News. You are watching Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, General Motors said on March 1st it's recalling 820,000 newer vehicles in North America because tailgates could unlatch and open unexpectedly. The issue covers 2020 to 2024 model year trucks with power unlatching liftgates because water could leak into the exterior tailgate switch and cause a short circuit while parked. The recall covers 2020 to 2023 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra trucks and 2020 to 2024 heavy-duty versions of the same pickup trucks with power unlatching tailgates. GM says that it is aware of one allegation of a minor injury and 3 minor property damage complaints related to the recall issue. The recall covers about 570,000 trucks in the U.S. and 250,000 in Canada. The callback is GM's largest U.S. recall of the year and one of the larger recalls filed so far in 2024. U.S. and Canadian regulators said if the tailgate opens, unsecured cargo could fall out of the truck bed and onto the road when moving. GM dealers will replace the exterior touchpad switch assemblies, but until replacement parts are available, vehicles in inventory at dealerships and owners may have the part disabled. GM said the replacement parts use a new material that improves resistance to water intrusion. GM recommends owners inspect the tailgates to ensure it's closed and latched before driving. GM says it's working quickly to remedy the issue. GM opened an investigation in November after receiving complaints of unwanted tailgate opening and said it had received 136 complaints that alleged an unwanted tailgate opening. Well. And it's still at GM. General Motors is recalling another 56,000 mid-size pickups in the U.S. over an issue that could cause the automatic emergency braking system to activate unexpectedly. The issue has been linked to 234 complaints in the U.S. between November 29th of 2022 and February 6th of this year, 4 of which involved accidents and 3 involved minor injuries, according to a recall report submitted February 22nd to NHTSA. The recall covers certain 2023 Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon vehicles. Globally, GM said about 61,700 vehicles are affected, including 4,500 in Canada and 1,500 in Mexico. The front camera module system on those vehicles might falsely detect an obstacle, triggering the automatic emergency braking system to engage and causing the vehicle to abruptly stop or slow. To fix the issue, dealers will update the front camera module software. General Motors is voluntarily recalling certain model year 2023 Chevrolet Colorados and GMC Canyons due to rare instances where the front camera module under certain conditions improperly causes an automatic emergency braking event, GM's spokesman Bill Grott said in a statement to Automotive News. The safety and satisfaction of our customers are our highest priorities, and we're working on a quick solution. In January, GM said it was delaying the first sales of about 15,000 2024 GMC Canyon and Chevrolet Colorado pickups to ensure that the software on the vehicles functions properly. The Detroit automaker said the stop sale was not related to a safety issue. Grott said the recall of the 2023 model year pickups is separate from the stop sale of the 2024 model year vehicles. All 2024 model year pickups will have updated front camera modules before reaching customers, he said, adding that the stop sale has been lifted and dealers are delivering vehicles to customers. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, how about some one-on-one? I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. Wrapping up another season of Oxford basketball. Oxford School Fieldhouse was packed to the brim with excited fans on both the Oxford High School side and the Lake Orion High School. That was in the Ian Smith Gymnasium. Ready to see head-to-head contest between the Wildcats and the Dragons in their final games of the regular season. The foul-heavy game ended with the Dragon win of 52-49. Lake Orion came out of the gate strong, taking an early lead, while Oxford hit 5 fouls within the first 5 minutes of the first half, giving the Dragons a chance to extend their lead at the free throw line. Lake Orion extended its early lead in the second quarter. Oxford was able to come back, tie the game up at 25-all at the half. Leading scorer then, Jake Champagne, kept the Wildcats in the game in the third quarter with 10 points, but Lake Orion was just stronger with Zach Parks, Ryan Rocheleau, and Quay Fly adding 14 each. At the buzzer, Lake Orion would see the victory. Oxford scored there in Lake Orion 52, Oxford 49. Champagne did lead the Wildcats with 26 points, followed by Nolan Mauser with 7 points, Luke Steffen with 6. Oxford boys end their season a very impressive 11-3 in the OAA Blue, 14-8 overall. Same night, Lake Orion girls were on the gymnasium floor. The Oxford High School girls varsity basketball team saw a loss there, a nail-biter. The same night, the rematch against Lake Orion High School boys team, falling to 44-40. Oxford previously defeated the Dragons back in January. However, it wasn't for that night. They did lose. Again, Lake Orion picking up 2 valuable victories in Oxford. 3 days later, the Lady Wildcats would be back on the court again, celebrating 4 seniors on senior night. Brady Elling, Peyton Richter, Abigail Snabel, and Lexi Yankee. They all were honored that night. Again, that game, home game, a regular season, a very close battle against a very tough Clarkston team, which ended up a very close 29-25 loss on the 27th. The Wilds also closed the first quarter with 8-7 lead with 3-pointers from Ellery Hernandez, Claire Walker. Hernandez scored another 3-pointer in the next quarter, and Emily Valencia scored on a basket for the only points of the quarter. Oxford outscored Clarkston 2 close first half at 16-13, led by 4 points from Mia Champagne, 2 points from Allison Huffstedler, and a 3-pointer from Emma Baggs, which sealed the lead at 90 seconds left in the game. It was a nail-biter, like I said. The Wildcats moved on to Davison, the MHSAA Division I Girls Basketball Championship District 32. That'll take place at Grand Blanc High School. We will have the results in our next week's broadcast. A final note about all the basketball games: even though Oxford didn't see a lot of victories in the last 3, we did film them for Oxford Community Television, and you watch for them on the weekend on OCTV. We'll be looking forward to seeing you out for spring sports, girls softball, and boys baseball, and the other sports in between. That's sports. Dave Kenny's coming up next on Oxford Community Television.
Military families often sacrifice precious time away from loved ones while serving our country. And for those with children, the separation can be especially difficult.
We were worried that with him leaving, that she would lose those connections with her dad.
Some of life's best moments happen between parents, children, and the pages of a good book. United Through Reading provides that connection.
You can watch your mom or dad read a book to you, and it almost feels like they're really there.
We ensure they remain a consistent, meaningful part of their children's lives, no matter the distance.
Just seeing Jacob recognize Daddy again after a long time just melted my heart.
And now, as we're facing greater isolation from our loved ones, United Through Reading is also available to veterans. Learn more about United Through Reading and download our free secure app at unitedthroughreading.org.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. The Caribbean, the Bay of Bengal, and South China Sea, and parts of Alaska and the Amazon will have their hottest 12-month period on record this year due to the ongoing El Niño weather pattern, according to a forecast by a climate model. These are the places where there will be an elevated risk of extremes, and these extremes are really damaging, says team member Michael McFadden at the NOAA Pacific Marine Environment Laboratory in Seattle, Washington. They are damaging to human health, and they increase the risks of wildfire. And in the oceans, they increase the risk of marine heat waves, which are damaging to marine ecosystems, fisheries, and corals, he says. Global surface temperatures across much of the world are currently at an all-time high. The main reason for this is the warming caused by carbon emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. But on top of this, a strong El Niño phase that began in the middle of 2023 is pushing up temperatures even further. During El Niño, warm water spreads across the surface of the Pacific Ocean towards South America. The vast area of warm water transfers a lot of ocean heat into the atmosphere, causing surface temperatures to rise. In the opposite phase, known as La Niña, this process reverses. Cold water spreads across the surface of the Pacific away from South America, absorbing heat from the atmosphere and reducing surface temperatures. This means the global average surface temperature usually hits record levels during El Niño phases and then declines during La Niña. McFadden and his colleagues use a computer model that accounts for aerosol pollution and volcanic eruptions in addition to El Niño to try to forecast where in the world record heat will occur. Their regional forecasts are for the average surface temperature over the period from July of 2023 to June of 2024. There's a real value to having this kind of warning, even if it's not precisely timed to a particular season, says McFadden. It gives you some lead time for preparing on how to best protect lives, property, living marine resources, and economic development. The team considered two scenarios, a strong El Niño and a more moderate one. It is now clear that we are seeing a strong El Niño. In fact, it's likely to be among the top 5 strongest El Niños since 1950, says McFadden. For this strong El Niño scenario, the team forecasts that the global average surface temperature between July of 2023 to June of 2024 will be between 1.1 and 1.2 degrees Celsius higher than the 1951 to 1980 average. This is equivalent to 1.4 to 1.5 degrees Celsius above the 1850 to 1900 average, New Scientist calculates, which is regarded as the pre-industrial benchmark. This suggests the model is underestimating temperatures, as this level has already been exceeded. From January of 2023 to January of 2024, the average global surface temperature was more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above 1850 and 1900 average, and during January of 2024, it was 1.7 degrees Celsius above this level. Temperature records have already been smashed during the ongoing El Niño, especially in the tropics, says Maximiliano Herrera, an independent climatologist who tracks in extreme temperatures. This is a super one, he says. The record heat is persistent and inescapable. Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
In our last story of the day, we're focusing on Mother Nature and technology at its finest. They planned, raised funds, obtained permits, and installed a bald eagle nest camera on the first ever active bald eagle nest in Big Bear Valley, California. The camera and sound system is solar powered and runs live stream, available to watch 24/7. Historically, bald eagles only wintered in Big Bear Valley to find food sources like waterfowl and fish. Recently, however, a pair took up year-round residence, and in 2012, the first in recorded history, a bald eagle chick was hatched in the valley. She was successfully reared to fledge. The current nest is in San Bernardino National Forest and has been in active use since 2013. The surrounding area is closed to the public during nesting season because eagles have been known to abandon their nests when disturbed by humans. But you can watch them close up by viewing them on the video cam site. The website is www.friendsofbigbearvalley.org/eagles. Enjoy it. Jim says it's great.
Oh, it is. It's wonderful. You got to log. It's very relaxing and very cool. Again, the website, you can tap in. We didn't really have the picture up here on the, during the story, but you definitely got to tap into that. But we got to remember now we're into March, seeing a lot of stuff about reading, and I know I don't read as much as I should, okay? I know you're an avid reader. What's going on in your life with this?
I am. I love reading, and I'd much rather read the books and turn the pages, but like you, I don't have a whole lot of time. So lately, I registered with the public library. You can do it in Oxford. They have a huge reserve to pull from. I'm registered in another community, but you can register for audiobooks, and I listen to those while I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm on my way to work, and on my way home. So it's like 13.
Are they on tapes or CDs or what?
You download them onto your phone,
okay.
and then on my phone it connects Bluetooth to my car, so I can listen to it. But there's a number of ways. I mean, you can also go to your library and get the audio DVDs, or CDs. I don't happen to have a car that I can play CDs with, but I've listened to some really good books. I have to say, probably 7 or 8 books since Christmas time.
No, like I said, you and I
quickly.
were talking before we went on the air that a lot of people during reading month, we talk about the kids and all that. But Oxford, you said, has its own, some book clubs going on or something?
There is a book club you can contact them through Parks and Recs here in Oxford, and I know that there's a book club out in Addison Township, and you can contact them through the clerk, Pauline Bennett, at their site. I just know that because they talk about it to me.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
If you're interested, or I believe you can also find out about book clubs through both whatever library you go to.
We actually reached out. I think we had a story last week at the beginning of the National Reading Month. There was that two young...
Oh, the kids.
Yeah, right. And we're waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah.
And then there's a young lady that has a new it's in town, a new bookstore.
Yeah, right.
So we're waiting for, if you're watching this, give us a call.
Yeah, by the time this airs, she will have opened last weekend.
Oh.
But also, I'm going to plug OCTV for a minute. We also do a story, a program called Read Me a Story, and that's for kids that are preschool up to even past kindergarten. We've had people like our chief of police read stories to the kids. Yeah. There's a woman who volunteers her time, and it's total volunteer, who is a librarian. So
an unforgotten art of reading. I mean, you can never have enough of that. And again, like I say, my mom, she gets her newspaper every day, and she proves us through it. And I mean, that's reading too, but I mean, also reading books is a great way too as well.
There is one book, and I'm just going to brag about my family a little bit. One book I really want to read is about this thick, and it is about my ancestors who came and helped discover Detroit, which would be the St. Aubins, and I forget what's the Cadillacs and Campos.
Joseph Campo.
And Lesperance.
I only know the roads.
I know, and that's how I remember which family member it is. So it's Lesperance, St. Aubin, Campos, and Cadillacs. So yeah, pretty cool. So that's a thick book. I got to read yet.
You actually got to read that one. They can't listen to that on the tape.
I have to.
You know what? OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191. I don't know if we're on tape or not. Channel 99 on the AT&T Uverse system. You can also check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. Where do I watch, Terry? On Roku as well. Yeah. If you have an idea.
Also Fire Stick, we just added.
We got Fire Stick, cool. Yep. If you have a show idea and like to volunteer, OCTV can give our office a call, 248-628-9658. Special thank you to our producer, director, Kyle Snage, news writer, Allison Miller, also editor, Kyle Snage, programmer, Connie Miller, and our station manager, who also double bills as an anchor, Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week, and I invite you back next time when, again, we will take a look at Oxford News This Week.